Sometimes the simplest stories hold the biggest lessons. Today, we've got a great one. It's a timeless fable about a handsome fish, but it's really about something we all deal with, the powerful and often dangerous trap of desire. So yeah, at its heart, this is a story about a fish, and it's a story about the trap of desire. Sounds simple, right? A creature in a river? But what's so fascinating about this tale is how it's kind of like a mirror. It reflects our own behavior right back at us, especially that seductive and sometimes totally blinding nature of the things we want the most. And like all the best fables, this one really forces us to look at our own vulnerabilities and our own choices. So let's just dive right in. All right, so first, let's set the scene. Our story kicks off in the world of a pretty unique character, a man with, let's call it, a very special kind of wisdom. This is our guide through the story, an advisor in a king's court. But he is no ordinary courtier. This guy has an incredible, almost unbelievable gift. He can actually understand and speak the language of animals. And this isn't just some random magical detail. It is the absolute key that unlocks the entire lesson of this story. Okay, so picture this. One day, our advisor is just taking a walk along a riverbank, and he sees a pretty common sight. Some fishermen casting a huge net into the water. And just like that, the stage is set. You've got this river, just teeming with life, but now it's also laced with danger. And this is where we get to the real part of the conflict. I mean, it's a story as old as time, right? One we've all seen before in countless ways. The very real danger of being blinded by beauty. Down in the water, we meet our two fish. And the wife? Wow. She is described as just stunningly beautiful. We're talking scales that shimmer with all the colors of the rainbow, fins that look like a fairy's wings, just gliding through the water with total grace. It's really no wonder someone would be completely captivated by her. And her husband? Yeah, that's exactly what happened to him. He was completely mesmerized. The story says he was so entranced by her beauty that he was paying attention to literally nothing else. And that's the crucial point. His entire world has just shrunk down to this one single, all-consuming object of desire. And right here, the huge difference between awareness and obsession becomes crystal clear. As they approach the danger, the wife fish is alert. She smells the net, she sees it, and boom, she darts away at the last second. But her husband? He's so blinded by his desire, so utterly distracted, that he just can't turn away fast enough. He swims straight into the trap. And just like that, snap, the trap closes. The inevitable has happened, and now our handsome fish is about to learn a very, very painful lesson, all while tangled up in that net. The consequences come fast, and they are brutal. First, he's trapped and yanked out of the river. Then, he's just thrown onto the hard shore. And to make things worse, the fishermen immediately start building a fire to roast him. I mean, imagine that. His whole beautiful world of water and light is gone, replaced by this nightmare of air, agony, and impending fire. But get this, even now, flopping on the ground in total agony, what do you think is on his mind? Not the pain, not his own death. No, our advisor, listening in, hears him groaning this over and over. My wife, I care for her much more than for my life. It's incredible. His desire is so powerful, it has completely eclipsed his own will to survive. And the advisor, listening to all of this, makes his diagnosis. He sees that this fish hasn't just made a simple mistake. No, this is much deeper. He's become, and I'm quoting here, a slave to his own desire. He's lost all perspective, all sense of self-preservation. He's gone, in a word, crazy. And the advisor's wisdom here is pretty profound. He's not just worried about the fish's physical death. He believes that if the fish dies while trapped in this mindset of agony and obsessive desire, its suffering will actually end with its life. It would just continue. So, moved by compassion, he decides he has to intervene. So, after he convinces the fisherman to give him the fish, the advisor speaks to him directly. And he does not sugarcoat it. He calls him foolish and points out exactly what caused this mess: blind desire. The lesson is crystal clear. From now on, do not let yourself be trapped by your own desires. And with that, he releases him back into the river. Okay, so our fish is saved, great, but the story isn't over, not by a long shot, because now we get to the most important part. the powerful message this fable holds for every single one of us. This is the real question, isn't it? It's a good story, sure, but why does it matter? What can we, living in our complex world, possibly learn from a fish who was just a little too obsessed? Well, the takeaway here is pretty blunt, and it's a crucial distinction. The story isn't saying desire itself is bad. Of course not. The danger lies in becoming trapped by it, in becoming a slave to it. That is the path that, just like for our fish, leads directly into a net. So how do we avoid these nets in our own lives? Well, the story gives us a few ideas. First, you have to be radically, truly honest with yourself. Then, stop and think about what it is you're chasing. And maybe more importantly, you have to ask yourself why you're chasing it. Is it a genuine desire, or are you just swimming towards a shiny net without realizing it? And finally, if and when we get caught, we have to learn from it. You know, at the end of the day, the biggest trap isn't set by others. It's the one we set for ourselves when we're not being honest about our own motivations. We cheat ourselves. But as the story reminds us with this powerful line, if you are truly honest with yourself, nothing or no one can cheat you, not even you yourself. With that kind of honesty, we become our own best protector. So I'll leave you with this. We all have things we're chasing, beautiful things that capture our attention. But it's worth asking yourself, is what you're chasing something you're swimming alongside, or is it a beautiful net that's blinding you?